Okay, it's the 20th of September 2016 now, and as promised I'm going to try to explain why I'm refusing at this point to resign, even though the State President made it very clear in his latest letter that if I don't, he's going to have to call a disciplinary council for me. Now, I wrote a long response to his letter, and both those letters may be found in the usual place. He had mentioned in his letter that I had posted a number of items on the internet, and so in my response I asked this: are there specific concerns about what I've written? If so, then please spell out those concerns so that I may understand and respond. Perhaps you could itemise what I've said that you deem to be wrong or misleading. If you will show me my errors, I wholeheartedly undertake to address them, and also publicly document the corrections, all of them, disavowing whatever is untrue. In a quest for truth and full disclosure, I will unhesitatingly do this. I have no vested interest in any particular narrative, just a desire to record what is accurate. Well, the background to this is that I've been asking questions for about 4 years now about troublesome matters. Specifically, in my case, the Book of Abraham, its origins, and also Joseph Smith's polyandry, etc., among other issues, but those were perhaps the two main ones. The home teachers, the bishop, the stake president, when I contacted them about this in the beginning, they all found themselves unable to answer. And so, having nowhere else to turn, I wrote open letters to the area presidency, 2 or 3 of those I think, and also the Quorum of 12 and First Presidency. But still no answers are forthcoming, just a resounding silence. You see, the thing is, I want dialogue and communication, an explanation as to why expression of my concerns is wrong. That's what I want from the State President. If I am being held to account for my thoughts, and I want as a bare minimum those who would judge me to engage with those thoughts and explain to me why they are wrong. Anyway, I continued in my response to the State President. It has never been my intention to mislead anyone. I wish to be honest in my dealings with all of mankind, and I trust you will consider it your duty as State President to be honest and fair with me by identifying all and any specific issues, thereby allowing me an opportunity of making appropriate adjustments before I find myself answering such charges in a disciplinary hearing. In other words, I'm asking the State President to stand in his calling. And if he stands in his calling, he ought to be able to show me what is actually wrong. And then, I mean it, 100%, I will correct what I've written once he has shown me what is wrong. And so I'm saying to him, in effect, do not judge without first explaining why there is reason for you to judge. Alternatively, of course, you may possibly decide to call a disciplinary council for me without affording me any such opportunity. But to do so, ignoring this invitation to reason matters through together first, would, in my opinion, be unworthy of you, and would do nothing at all to enhance the reputation of the LDS Church, particularly in this country. I think that's fair comment. I think it's perfectly reasonable to ask him to explain his accusations in private to me before he brings a case against me in front of 15 others. In a court of law, a defendant gets full sight of the evidence to be brought against him prior to the court being held, and that enables him to prepare a defence which answers the accusations. If the State President fails to provide me beforehand with whatever evidence he has and calls a hearing without having done so, then in my view he discredits himself and the Church too, and it should become public knowledge. Now, as I said before, this State President is an honourable man, I believe. But he wouldn't be the first good man, perhaps, to do something dishonourable if told to do so by those in authority over him. So I await his response with considerable interest. Now, I know for many in my position, resignation brings peace and a sense of closure, and for some, that's of paramount importance and is definitely the right thing for them to do. But I believe I have good reasons for not resigning. The first one is that I am a victim of an organisation which led me to believe many claims which have since been demonstrated to be false. And in the process, it took from me a large chunk of my life and my substance. But perhaps worst of all, they used me to mislead others too, including members of my own family. So there should be no mistake made here. It's I who am the victim, not the church. And what's more, I'm one of millions of such victims. One day, I expect redress for all of us. It may not come in my lifetime, but I do believe in justice, and so I still expect it. My intentions toward the LDS Church were always honourable, but as more and more evidence has come to light, it's become increasingly clear that the Church's intentions towards me were not. Certain evidence was deliberately kept from me by the LDS Church hierarchy, evidence which would have woken me up long ago. For instance, it was known even a year or so before I joined the church back in 1971 that the Book of Abraham made claims which could not have been true. And that's only been addressed to any extent at all in the last couple of years. I wish I'd known in 1971. Second reason I have is you get excommunicated for doing something wrong, not for exercising the right to search and think and speak, especially when the whole motivation behind doing those things is to separate error from the truth. So why should I resign? Along with the rest of intelligent humanity, I believe in freedom of thought and speech, and would do what I have to do to defend that right. It should not be a resignation matter. My third reason is that resignation, to me, well, it's just a word, and it changes none of the facts. It provides me with no answers. It accomplishes nothing for me at all. I understand they even still count you in the fictitious number that they claim is the current church membership, and they still keep a file on you, even though you've resigned. So it's meaningless as far as I'm concerned. Resigning would simply absolve the stake president and others from having a continuing responsibility towards me and my concerns. It would be administratively convenient for them, that's all. It would excuse them from having to confront the facts by dealing with me. And while I deplore the activities of the LDS Corporation, I still have Mormon friends and family whose eyes are not yet opened. I still identify with them and share many of their values, but not their beliefs or belief in the corporation they serve. So I don't feel the need to resign. To place this in further context, as a baby I was christened in the Church of England, and when I was 18 years old I turned away from that church without resigning from it to join the LDS Church. I was free to do so. The validity of my life story in those first 18 years was neither surrendered nor required of me when I changed my religion. Those early years remain a vital part of my identity, even though I don't believe in the Church of England's claim to divine authority, any more than I can now believe in LDS founding claims. But fourthly, and above all really, this is my main reason, after so much struggle and heartache in discovering the truth about Mormon origins, I want it all to count for something. I hope eyes will be gently opened. Perhaps my experience may become something for others to learn from. The way the LDS Church deals with me will send truth vibrations into the lives of others who will walk a similar path, and it will help them to understand. There is a general awakening going on among thinking LDS members, and that awakening can only accelerate as more and more stories like mine are shared. Whatever they now decide to do with me, I know that those who attempt to resist the truth are going to lose in the end. And I can only trust that my own struggle will serve to illustrate things as they actually are, and will maybe help others to see. First they ignore you, certainly did that for a long time. Ridicule you, yeah, I had some of that too. Then they fight you, that's what's going on now, and then you win. So I'm settled in my mind to do what is right and let the consequence follow. Sure, I would prefer not to go through the whole tedious, upsetting process of disciplinary action, but I'm not going to be on trial. The LDS Church is going to be on trial in how it handles my case. And I trust it will be worthwhile in the end. Victory for truth is assured, even if my own part in this epic struggle to overturn falsehood only results in just one additional footnote in the history books of the future. Thank you for your moral support. I think I may need it. It's going to be, I was going to say exciting. It's probably going to be sad as well, but it will at least be instructive. But we'll face this together. We'll speak again soon.